Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Mansur Hasib, and it is my pleasure and honor to present to you the Cybersecurity Divas. All highly distinguished Master of Science graduates from the award-winning cybersecurity programs at the University of Maryland Global Campus. So please join me in welcoming Katoria Henry, Naalphatu Toure, Elena Healing, and Anye Biamby. By 2018 graduate and CyberRapper Tomiko Evans, who won the 2019 Rising Star Award from CyberJutsu, and last week won the 2019 America's Information Security Leadership Award as an up-and-coming professional from ISC Square. And now, let's begin with some opening remarks from each panel member. First, Katoria Henry.
Good morning, good morning. So I like to stand up. I'm going to try not to go over my time. So briefly, guys, I just want to let everybody know how I got into cybersecurity. How many people in here wants to be a millionaire? Just raise your hand. I don't know. Okay, just let everybody. So this is how I got started, and this is a very true story. So right after I graduated from college in 2010 with my undergraduate degree, I was really in between jobs, and I really needed money really fast. So I actually received this email, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this. They said that I was the beneficiary of $50 million, and I actually really truly believed that it was a true email, and so they requested a lot of my information, and I actually gave it to them, seriously. So they had all of my PII, everything, but I wasn't actually financially impacted until maybe 3 years after I actually gave out my information, and it took me about 6.5 years to really get on top of things and get my credit, everything back on track, because I essentially opened up the doors to my own identity and I gave it away. So one of the biggest things, that I want you guys to take away from here is really pay attention to the phishing emails. They really are true. If someone emails you and they say, hey, you're gonna get 50 million or $200 million, please don't believe it. They're getting really, really creative with these emails now, and it's really difficult to tell if it's actually true or if it's, like a fake email or something like that, because the email addresses are actually, official looking too, and the attachments as well. Please don't open those emails. Don't be like me, so you can give yourself up. But I did it, but I've been working around to get myself back on track, and so that's really why I got into cybersecurity. I gave myself up, and now I have to take myself back.
All right.
Great.
Hi everyone, my name is Katia Dean. I'm the voice of the Cyber Pros because I like to speak up for everyone in cybersecurity. I'm a pet mom to Buster. I also enjoy inspiring the next generation cyber professionals with my resume services and encouraging them through my discovery session calls. And I also have a pet business called Peaceful Paw Natural Care. So if you need a pet sitter, I'm a girl. And that's it.
Great. Now, Naalphatu Toure.
Hi everyone, my name is Naalphatu Toure. I graduated last year in May, and I was inducted in the Honor Society and Epsilon Pi Upsilon. Why I studied cybersecurity is because I'm from Sierra Leone, West Africa, where 90% of the population lacks cyber awareness. 90%. And I love to attend conferences and network events where I can gain more knowledge and meet and network with people. Last month, I attended the Hackers Mountain, and I realized that even we have to safeguard all data, but we must realize that not all data is golden. Not all data is golden. We all know how gold is important, so not all data is important. Thank you.
Great. Now, Elena Healing.
Hi everyone, I'm Elena Healing, and my story is a tad bit different. I started out here at this university in 2009, and I ended up getting my bachelor's in math and also economics. I got 2 degrees. So I went into work for the private industry for 10 years, and as an actuary, an auditor, and then statistical reporting analyst. And during that, 2016, realized, maybe I want to do something else because this world is growing and there are hacks I keep hearing about. So I did end up going and starting the Cybersecurity Masters. And what I learned from that more than anything is leadership. Thanks to Dr. Hasib, who was my first professor and has continued to be my mentor. I learned all about leadership and also about federal government and what now I actually do work for the federal government, and I'm a mathematical statistician, but everything I've learned in the cyber program through policy management sticks with me every single day.
Wonderful. Now, Anye Biamby.
Hi everyone, my name is Anye Biamby. How I got started in the field. So when I was 10 years old, I got my first computer, and ever since then I've been in love with computers, technology. So I started out as I wanted to do architectural engineer, but I took an architect class. I didn't like it, so I dropped to a regular engineer. Then I switched schools, and then I studied. I think I did information technology or business, and then I transferred schools again to UMUC, and then I got into the cybersecurity program. So and I also used to watch NCIS. And the girl that was behind the computer was helping solving the crime. So I always liked her. So this is one of the other reasons why I got into cyber as well. And that's all.
Wonderful. So, you see, cybersecurity is for everyone. These people are coming from diverse backgrounds, and they've made the journey here. So now we're going to learn what the journeys were like so that each of you can benefit from that. So let's start with Katoria. You transitioned into some new cybersecurity roles recently. Could you share some of your job interviewing techniques that helped you become successful?
Absolutely. So, one of the biggest things, because I actually do a lot of interviewing as well in the position that I'm in, one of the biggest things is to really go into the interview feeling fearless. Okay, you can't feel overwhelmed or anything like that. I know it's difficult, especially for those that are just starting off and maybe your first interview. One of the best things that I would recommend for sure, especially if it's a big name company, when you go in there, usually the hiring manager or the recruiter, one of the main questions that they want the candidates to genuinely answer is, why do you want to join my company? When they say that to you, what they're looking for is someone that has done their research, what their values are, what their mission may be, things of that nature. They really want to see if you've taken the time to really get to know that organization and if you could really be a valuable asset. If you can't sincerely answer that question and provide that information, more than likely you're probably not going to get a call back or an email or anything like that. They really want to see if you've done the research, to see if you could be a key player for their team. So that's one of the best things that I can, really just kind of get people to look into when you're looking for these jobs. Research the company, find out what they're good at, find out what their weaknesses are, and for sure you can answer that in an interview. More than likely they will select you.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Katia, describe your journey into cybersecurity and finding a job.
Yes, so for me, September 2018, I actually was laid off from my company because the company lost the contract. So I actually was unemployed for 9 months. But during those 9 months, I actually inspired the next generation of people by helping them with their resumes. I was very positive throughout my job search. enjoyed or the knowledge. I came to realize that it's basically about the fit and do you fit in with the company or will you fit in with the people that you'll be working with. For any job seekers out there, know that the job descriptions are not idealistic. Make sure that you know how to transfer your skills that you already have because everyone is in cybersecurity. You just need to know your skills and how to translate those. And don't give up. And if you need some words of encouragement, just hit me up on LinkedIn.
So, as we know, cybersecurity is global, and we actually have someone with an interest on the international aspect. So, Naalphatu, could you please share some insights into the international aspects of cybersecurity?
Thank you, Dr. Mansur. As we all know, cybersecurity threatens the world, but it's more riskier in Africa because there's a low level of commitment in cybersecurity. For my introduction, I told you guys I'm from Sierra Leone, West Africa, where 90% of the population lack cyber awareness. 90%. And the problem is because my country, we don't have no legislation, no regulation, no policy, neither standard for cybersecurity. And that's messed up. I'm going to do something about it. I don't know if you all remember the Face app, the Face Agent app, where they say it's from the Russian, they try to get information or something. So many people from my country were saying that data is not important to the Russians. How is that? Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how ignorant we are. Back home. That's how ignorant Africans are. In Nigeria, I was working with one of the companies called Regis, where we do threat intelligence. There's a lot of social engineering attack back there. Somebody will just call you and ask you for your information. And Katia will say what she faced. Somebody can just call you and tell you, you won this certain amount of money, but we need your information so that you can get this amount. And some of them, they even ask them for money. So that's how bad. Recently, there was a cyber attack in South Africa. Do you all remember that, or do you all heard about that? No. Yes, there was a cyber attack. It was a ransomware attack where the whole city computer was locked, and they were asking for 4 Bitcoin. Yeah, they were asking for 4 Bitcoin. So that's how bad we lack cyber awareness. I'm going to try to see what I can do for my country because this is one of the reasons why I study cybersecurity. Thank you.
Wonderful. Everyone thinks cybersecurity is all about technology. However, you already shed some light on the people and leadership aspects of cybersecurity, particularly as it relates to innovation. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So as we know that this is the data age we're going through, and as Dr. Hasib just said, new technologies are truly the pinnacle of an organization and leading success in industries and government in today's day and age. However, if all we had was the technology experts doing technology, there would be an issue with flow. If something happened, who would take the lead? And so this brings me to my point to the fact that historically the CEOs have typically run organizations. And Dr. Hasib has actually shown that, and written in his book, other examples such as the CIO taking the place of the CEO. The leadership point where, as a cybersecurity leader, you don't necessarily have to be involved day-to-day on the technical work, but instead leading so that you can protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the data that is being used across the organization to grow further. A few more points is that it's important for the leader to be optimistic, to be resilient, because with these day and age hacks, which are coming 24/7, and you just sometimes have to settle on accepting risk, having a level of risk tolerance, but you have to motivate and empower the people that are doing the work and continuing to learn as well. So leadership is a critical element, and I don't think that without leadership and even self-leadership and leadership throughout an organization and all of us being our own leaders and leading by example, not necessarily even having that leadership title, that we can all truly be leaders and continue to grow this atmosphere.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now from Anye, we're going to learn about the policy aspect, because cybersecurity is about people, policy, and technology. So we're going to hear a little bit about the policy aspects of cybersecurity. Anye.
Yes. So a lot of people, when they think of cybersecurity, they think of hacking or the technical side, networking. So when I got started, I got into the policy field, and what really helped me get started with the policy field is knowing the NIST standards and also knowing the RMF step, risk management framework steps as well. So to me, I had to actually, learn about RMF, NIST, the policies that are in place, and also, we are responsible. Well, for me, I'm responsible for like a system for the compliance. So I do have to write a policy that everyone must follow in order to make sure this system remains secure. So writing is very well, needed in the cybersecurity field. So a lot of people don't think that, but you don't really have to have a cybersecurity degree in order to be in cyber. But if you can write and you know your policies, your standards, you can actually do pretty well in the field.
Excellent. We often hear about cybersecurity certifications. Katoria, are there some certifications that you would recommend to someone entering the field? What's your recommendation on that?
Well, I've been in the field for a little bit now. I actually just got my first certification this year, simply because I didn't want to get one. I didn't think it was necessary for myself because I had the skill set and it was a requirement, for any of the jobs that I had applied for. So it wasn't necessary for me. However, the field is becoming very competitive. And so with that, I would actually recommend that those that are interested in certifications, try looking at vendor-neutral certifications, such as the CCSP, the SSCP, the CCSK, Katia Security Plus, which is, of course, on everybody's job requirement list these days. So that's just basically what I would definitely recommend. Vendor-neutral certifications will definitely give you a better opportunity to get yourself in the door, I'd say, because you're not like, it's not something specifically that you can do. It's kind of well-rounded. That's the purpose of getting vendor-neutral certification. If you don't want to do certifications, or if you're a little afraid, or you need some assistance in trying to figure out what exactly would be the best route for you, definitely feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I know Katia has some really good things on her page as well for those that need a little bit of guidance, and I can definitely try to assist you and recommend the best, cybersecurity certification path for you guys. But definitely stick to vendor neutral. It always works.
Great. So that's an excellent insight. Now, let's hear from Katia Dean about how many people get degrees, they get certifications, but they still have a hard time finding jobs. What do you suggest they do?
Okay, if you have certifications, I do not care if you have 1, 5, 15, 25. If you do not know how to articulate the basics of that knowledge, you will not get the job. If you have a degree, if you have an associate, bachelor's, and a master's, if you have a master's degree like me, please go for a mid-level senior position. I say that because you earned your master's, so don't try to play yourself. That's all I have.
Yes, this is a very important point that she made, because once you earn a master's degree, you're already in the top 10% of the adult U.S. population. So better to apply for jobs that require or prefer a master's degree. Automatically cuts down on the competition. Naalphatu, I understand that you are now a member of Toastmasters and you're polishing your public speaking skills, and you're also very active on LinkedIn. So let's talk a little bit about that. Why is public speaking or being active on LinkedIn important for people and cybersecurity professionals in particular?
Thank you very much. First of all, I just want to thank UMGC for putting presentation as part of their curriculum. That has helped me a lot. This is one of my weaknesses, and I'm trying to work on it. Dr. Mansur also helped me a lot when I told him that this is one of my weaknesses. He asked me to join one of the Toastmasters, and I'm one of she leads and she speaks. If you guys are one of me, like who is very weak in public speaking, please join the Toastmaster program. It's very helpful. As a cybersecurity professional, you have to know how to pitch your presentation. You have to pitch in to your customer. You have to let them know about you have to present to your customer your goals or whatever the company needs to do, and you have to know how to do that. So please join Toastmaster program. And
What about LinkedIn?
I'm coming to that. So I just want to ask a question. How many of us have a LinkedIn account in this room? Oh wow, we're very few. Okay, so how many of us got a job through our LinkedIn Connect? What about having a valuable relationship through LinkedIn? So those are the reasons why you have to have a LinkedIn account. And an advice is you have to brand yourself. Your profile will speak for you.
Thank you very much for that. And Elena, you talked about you earned a Master of Science in Cybersecurity Management Policy degree from UNC. What did that degree do for you?
Can you hear me? So let me just start out by saying when I worked at the second largest auto insurance in the country, the little green gecko, I'm sure you've all heard of it, for 10 years, I loved it. I remember doing a lot of math, and I just enjoyed that, and I didn't understand what these managers and directors and AVPs and CEOs, I just didn't get it. I was like, I never want to do that. I just want to sit here and do my math. And then when I started, when I joined the program for cybersecurity, it's when I realized, wow, I can be a leader because it's more of a science and psychology, and there's multiple theories about leadership, all stages of leadership development, which I had no clue about because I only really cared about learning math, and I had not been exposed to it. So besides learning that in the class, UMGC offered career quest programs where I was able to take seminars hosted by OPM, which is part of the government, as well as different venues within UMGC. And I learned a lot of interview skills, which you would think after being in the professional workforce for 10 years I would be fine at. But I just want to give a quick story of one of the sessions I remember attending. It was a woman who worked for OPM giving federal interviewing advice or tips to the attendees. And she gave us an example of how in another session, a young woman said to her, I have no skills. All I've ever done is I've been a grocery clerk attendant. That's it. I've worked at the cash register. And she said, so did you ever have an upset customer? She said, oh, all the time. Okay. You have customer relationship management skills. Oh, okay. Did you ever not have a grocery item on the shelf when a customer came to you and complained? She said, of course. I had to call, the vendor. Okay. You have distribution and, vendor relationship skills. And kept going and going. And that empowered me for my whole future. And I hope, maybe touches any of you, because if you think you don't have what it takes, don't limit yourself. I'm sure you have some experience, or if you're already looking at that, you're going to be capable of learning that. So I think some of the ladies here also said it, shoot hire. Everyone I work with now from the federal government basically has a PhD in the management level, and with my master's degree and showing with my experience, I was able to attain that as well. But again, I'm so appreciative of UMGC and everything it provided me to help grow. Thank you.
So she actually gave a hint of power of mentorship. And that's our next topic. I would love for Anye to tell us, how does anyone go about finding a mentor? What can mentors do for you, particularly in the area of personal branding?
Okay, so for me, I was in the field, I think when I was like more in the cybersecurity field and the policy world, so I reached out. I usually like research people on LinkedIn and see their credentials, and then I reached out to a gentleman because I like his skill set, and I was like, I would like to be, in that position one day. So I sent him a message and asked him to be my mentor, and then he explained to me like, the mentee and mentor relationship. And for me, we built like our relationship. And when I used to have like issues at work, understanding like certain policies or trying to write a control or anything like that, I would reach out to him, and then he would explain to me how to go about to write that that control, or help me solve like the work problem I had at work. And also he reviewed my resume, helped me brand my resume better so I can stand out whenever I'm looking for like a new opportunity. And he also helped me by like if he had any opportunities coming like in his side of the work, so he would like reach out to me like if I'm interested. But I think the best way for the mentor-mentee relationship is also helping them, because he had a business. He was like a coach on the side for soccer for like little kids. So I was able to volunteer and help him with that, and I think that helped build that relationship. So being helpful and then helping others in the mentor-mentee relationship, that can also help you, in the long run in your career.
Excellent. So we have allocated some time for audience questions. So as you saw, we got an introduction and some prepared questions. But I would love for the audience to ask questions, because these are the people that have the answers. So please.
I have a question. You guys are closer to the K-12 arena than I am. I just wanted to know what your thoughts are about how do we infuse some of this passion that you guys have into the K-12 arena, so that we're feeding that pipeline into the cybersecurity workforce.
So I actually hinted to the group. This is our first time presenting together, and a couple weeks ago I actually came up with the idea. Dr. Hasib and I were gonna get together to try to do this. I actually mentioned maybe like what the military recruiters do, how they go to the schools and whatnot like that. We can maybe try to do something like that, maybe the school board or something like that, so that we can put our bodies there. I think advertising online, sometimes it doesn't reach the audience, that you're intending for it to reach. So I suggested, hey guys, after we do this, would you guys be interested in maybe going to a school, a high school, middle school, whatever the case may be, so that we can start showing them, it's okay to look for these positions. It's okay to be in this industry. So that's definitely something that, we're looking into, and hopefully we can actually, execute on that in the upcoming, couple months or so.
Here's another question. Over there, how many?
So hi everybody, my name is Harminder, and I'm also a graduate student in cybersecurity. So I'm graduating this fall 2019, and I'm also looking for a job in the market. Most of I have a non-technical experience, but most of the companies are looking for a 4-year, 3-year, 2-year. It is little bit tough and hard to find a recent graduate in the cybersecurity field. So that's it. Just want to answer if you next week.
Anybody want to answer that? Because these are all recent graduates.
For me, I would say network. That's like one of the key points when you're graduating. If you before you graduate, if you could get like an internship, like on the side. I don't know if you have a full-time job or not, but if you can get an internship, that can give you a little bit of experience as well. But network, the key is to network. So go on LinkedIn, reach out to people, ask them to be, your reference for a job. But network and build that relationship and get an internship as well if you could. But you graduating soon, so networking would be key for you.
I want to add to that. Also, trying to get a referral. A referral is actually good. When I was going through my storm, I actually reached out to LinkedIn, and my current position that I have right now, I actually got it through a referral. So definitely get a referral as well.
Great. There was a question there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, first off, thank you ladies so much for coming, and hey everybody, I'm Anye Biamby. I just wanted to ask you guys, is there any
but there are jobs in USA. However, we have pool of the other candidates who are not the federal employees who try to interview you without certification, though you have another master's, though you are a student. It is hard to break that rock over there, to explain them that as a US citizen, I'm more valuable to the government than instead of outsourcing the positions. So how did you all handle? I know some of the stories, especially Katia was always on the LinkedIn expressing what she went through or what she was going through, has motivated me, but how do you face it and how do I come out from it when those rocks will
I think Elena had some insights on this.
Yeah, so the reason I want to speak real quick is because actually 3 months ago, July 22nd, it was my first day working for the federal government. I was actually born in Russia, so, and I speak fluent Russian, and you know, one of my worries actually coming out of this master's program was, oh, no one's going to hire me because this country hates Russians. But I was shocked because when I went to a career fair as I was graduating earlier this year, they actually said that would be a pro. I can't say the agencies that were there, but they were there. And I said, whoa, again, my mind was, turned. But anyway, so I decided, let me look in the federal government space. And at that point is when I realized, oh my gosh, I always wanted not just to be a statistician or actuary, I wanted to be a mathematical statistician. And instead of and also potentially pursue cyber roles. But go to usajobs.gov. I was telling everyone here, I actually sat there one Saturday applying for the job I have now from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. on a Saturday. Didn't take one break. I was on my couch. My husband and my dog were next to me. And that's after I already wrote all the pieces that I was going to insert into that application. But be persistent. It might not be the first few jobs you get, but be persistent. Make sure for the federal government, I would just remove that whole mindset, who's more valuable, who's less valuable. If you have what it takes and you believe you match the qualifications, just go ahead, apply, and your attributes will do it for you.
I want to add to that, if you are trying to apply for federal jobs, make sure to get a federal resume because they have different requirements. The security clearance process is a hot mess as well. I'm going under 3 of them right now. I cannot speak too much on it, but just make sure to be honest during the security clearance process because you will be waiting.
All right, so thank you very much and I will want to stop closing this because it's time for your lunch. And so thank you very much for spending time with us. Thank you, Cybersecurity Divas, for sharing your story.